this afternoon.
Afternoon,
Yes.
Ruth.
Hi. It's kind of early morning here, so I'm sort of sleepy.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
How are you today, Ruth?
I'm good. Good.
Good.
Yes, I'm doing good. Hope everybody else is too.
Afternoon, Felipe. I think you have afternoon or morning.
It has morning in Brazil. I hope you can hear us.
Good morning.
Sony will join us, I believe. Do you have any questions before we start? Something on your mind that you would like to share?
I don't have any questions. I do maybe have a little something maybe to say beforehand before we get into it, though.
Can you?
I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out to Jeff and Jill. They haven't been here for a while, and Jeff was having some pretty good outcomes from what I do remember. And I'm pretty sure the entire time that I've been here, I've only been in 3 classes with Jill here at the same time as well. So I just wanted to mention that one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I see Felipe on the whiteboard. Felipe, can you hear us? Hello? Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Yes, Jill was participating here when we started, let's say on Twitter, last September, October, she started with us. Jeff joined this winter, but he was listening to us more than 2 years before. And people are coming and going, so. But thank you for mentioning their names and the conversations that they shared with us.
Nice. Definitely. They were there when I started as well, and a lot of the recordings that I'm watching also, they're in basically every single one.
Yes, thank you. Thank
So
you.
just like to shout them out.
Thank you that you're sharing it. Each one chooses his path, so it's free. And I'm very happy that they've participated and they're still in our hearts. But daily decision to join is the people's decision. So
Yeah, of course. I'm sure they're even listening to some videos every now and then.
thank you.
Possibly keeping up.
Thank you. And now, with your permission, we shall move to the whiteboard. In the whiteboard,
By all means.
yes. Ruth, do you have an access to the whiteboard?
Usually I follow you on the YouTube.
Yes.
I listen on Discord and talk on Discord, but then I usually put the whiteboard. I put it on the YouTube. It's easier for me than on the phone. My phone is just too small to look at.
Yes.
The screen. So I'm just waiting for it to load on YouTube. I don't see it there yet.
Yes. Okay. It is coming. I see already on YouTube there is a reflection of the text and of the picture. I see this now. Yes. Thank you. And maybe we can start reading. Who has an access? Philip has an access to the whiteboard.
I am in the whiteboard, yes.
Okay. We have 4 different types of texts that I would like to read with you today and see what is the connection between those texts. And if you're ready, we could start reading them and slowly move between one text to another and see what is the thread that led our thought to bring all of them together. So let's start here. Yes. Do you see the text in English? Here, let us put the English here. Yes. Do you have it?
I see the text. It's not zoomed in for me though.
Okay, let's see. Because a different type of text. Let's see the first line from Genesis, and then I shall zoom out for the rest of the text. Let's start with one verse because they have different kind of fonts or sizes. Let's start with the first, please. Can you please read? Do you see it?
Yes, I do. I'm playing with the screen myself here. Just to manually. Yep, there we go. Ruth, if you'd want to even switch a chapter for a chapter, if you'd like.
Yes, that's fine. I could start if you like.
Either way, I'm not phased.
Okay, I'll start with Genesis 1 verse 1.
Yes.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Shall I carry on with chapter 17?
Can you?
I just realised 21's another short one as well.
Okay, so you can, Ruth. Do you see the letters? Are they clear?
Yes, oh, it's good.
Good.
And when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am God Almighty, walk before me and be thou wholehearted. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be the father of a multitude of nations. Neither shall thy name be any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For the father of a multitude of nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee throughout their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land of thy sojournings, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said to Abraham, And as for thee, thou shalt keep my covenant, thou and thy seed after thee, throughout their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every male among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin. It shall be a token of a covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every male throughout your generation. I can't see because, thank you. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any foreigner that is not of thy seed. He that is born in thy house and he that is bought with money must needs be circumcised. My covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her, and moreover I will give thee a son of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, a little question I would like to ask you. What is the connection between those two texts? From Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the first verse of Genesis 17, and when Abraham was 90 years old and 99 years old of Abraham, which the Bible reports us on chapter 17:1, and the first verse of the Bible. what is the common theme between those two verses, Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 17:1? What is the theme here?
Birth.
Yes?
Birth.
Birth. You say birth. Okay. That's good. That's good. What else? Let's look into the Hebrew words and try to abstract from the words the numbers. And then we shall see what comes. Let's open the word the heavens, or Shamayim here. We shall move with a pen to write here. I'm very happy to see Felipe here on the board. Please write whenever you feel like that we could communicate. Shamayim, heavens, has the value of 390. This is heavens. And Aretz, earth, has 291. Earth, 291. What happens when we subtract the value of earth from the heavens? So we take the heavens as 390. Heavens. Or heaven.
99.
Excellent.
90.
Yes. Yes, the distance between the heaven and the earth is 99. Now, in what age Abram, in this stage is without extra letter, only 4 letters, in what age God speaks to him and asks him to be innocent? In Genesis 17:1, what is the age of Abram?
Well, 99.
99. So what do we see here? What is the connection between those two verses?
Well, is it the connection between, what's I would say the upper level and the lower level, between what's, the waters above and the waters beneath? Is there a
That's correct. That's correct. This is the connection between the heaven and the earth. So in this stage comes a speech to Abraham. It says, I'm El Shaddai, go in front of me and be innocent. What is the meaning of innocent? We explained this before, also already regarding to numbers. Innocent has the value of 490, which is basically 777 plus the 1, and then we have Jubilee 10. 777 is 49 plus 1. I move it to the left part so I could write it. What is innocent? 777 is 49. 10. This is 490. This is the meaning of innocent. At 49 or 490 starts a new counting, because the last 10, 490 plus 10 is the 500, the value of the temple of the tree of life, or the diagonal in Pythagoras triangle. Do we understand this perspective?
Yes, I think I understand that, because every 49 into the 50th there's a new beginning, right?
Yes, there's a new beginning. There's a new world coming, which is coming. Yes, like a new template that comes from the infinite and manifests itself in time. So every 50 years or 49, now it doesn't matter is 490 or 49, it's the same kind of thinking, it's qualitative thinking. So each jubilee or each 490 we have a new template, because the portion of 777, the square of, because we have 7 days which are revealed in space and time, the manifested 7. So once this matriza or this square has manifested itself, 777, which is 49, once this matrix has been completed, there's a new update that comes, and we start another counting, another jubilee. Do we understand this kind of thinking?
Yes, I can quite understand that, and yeah, it totally makes sense. I'd like to ask a question.
Yes,
I know
please.
I know we look at this from a spiritual perspective, and we don't necessarily engage ourselves with the historical aspect of this. Yet when we read through it as an historical sort of aspect, there's a lot of times it seems that in the natural, in the manifested world, that these times of 490, 490, 490 keep reappearing. Is that something that in the natural you would consider is still repeated in the natural world, in the manifested world, that there's still the 490, 490, 490 happening, if you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying there.
Yes, Philip?
For it to be taken literally, the Bible is being set as if we had a chance for ourselves to make a correction for ourselves from the times of the first sin from Adam and Eve, and have a chance for us to to correct that. And since then, that entire time, the Bible has been to guide us, and lessons have been given to us through that entire time, with the Bible by our side. And we're even still going through those times now to be able, or not to be able, but to use that opportunity to make the correction happen out of firstly for our own out of our own free will, and by the forgiveness of God, he's giving us the chance to be able to do that out of our own choice. So in a way, that entire time, the entire Bible, as you're saying, I'm not sure because I don't see the 490 coming up myself, but from the manifested view of the Bible, I could see that as being 490 the whole way through for that particular reason.
Ruth, thank you, Philip. Ruth, can you ask a question again?
Yes, I understand the concept of the new beginning, when there's obviously that 7 times 7, the innocence within oneself is attained. I was asking, that's, a spiritual evaluation. that we can apply to ourselves spiritually. But I was just wondering whether in the natural, for example, in the natural in Israel, there's still any emphasis on 49 years, the year of Jubilee,
Yes.
in the natural.
Yes, in the natural, that it is. Thank you for the question. It also expresses itself in the law of Israel. Let's say when a person buys a house or apartment, he pays the price of the house or the price of the apartment, but regarding to the ground, he is leasing the ground. He is leasing the ground for 49 years. Every person who buys here apartment or house, he pays the fee of the house, but the ground is being leased. Nobody owns here the ground. This is one aspect. Another aspect is every 7 years, there's like sabbatical year for the land. So they let the land rest, so to speak, from giving fruit. And people or Israel buys fruits and vegetables from abroad. Some are also being grown here, but under different hands. Or Israel buys like products from abroad and let the land rest in the 7th year.
Thank you.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
In the case of just as an aside, I know this is not really it's not exactly what we're talking about, but can people there renew their lease in the 50th year?
Yeah, then comes there's a new paperwork comes and there's a renewal. Yes, but
Okay, good.
there is a law that says the Bible says the land is mine, not the land. God says the land is mine. Li haaretz, li is for me is the country or the will. It's not yours. He speaks to people. It's not what you think. And there's
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Yes. Now, in a way, what bridges the heavens and the earth is the innocence. The value of innocence is 490 in this case, the word innocence or complete. But God speaks to Abraham and says what makes a person innocent. And what is it? To trust the word of God. The value or the word in Hebrew, the term for a word in Hebrew is milah. Milah, I will write it here. Milah. This is how it sounds in English, milah. This is the meaning of word. And God says to Abraham, in the age of 99, the way to connect the heaven and the earth, or the earth to the heaven, to the infinite, is by using the word. The word is a covenant, is a bridge that will always bridge the manifested and the hidden. And this happens in 99. The word, the bridge, is reflected in Abraham's age. When Abraham is 99 in his time life, there is a reflection of a creation, of a new creation, like the Bible describes in Genesis 1. because the age of Abraham in this verse manifests 99, the difference or the distance between the heaven and the earth. And what bridges or connects heaven and earth is the Word, the divine Word. We shall not go to the process of how does God speak to Abraham and ask him to treat his household. But what comes after this divine speech, God promises a promise to Abraham. What is the promise? In verse 16, or yes, 16 and 17. In this speech, when Abraham is 99 years old, and God is asking Abraham to circumcise himself and his household, in verse 16 or 15, what does God tell Abraham?
That he'll have a son.
That he will have a son. From Sarah, he will have a son from Sarah. And in the next verse, in Genesis 21, who would like to read the verse?
That would be my turn.
Yes.
Yes, I can. And the Lord remembered Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken.
Thank you. Thank you. Just one verse at the moment. I would like us to focus in the word remember in Hebrew. The English Bible translated as remember. The word is pakad. Pakad, like commanded or speak. The value of pakad, remembered, commanded, or spoke, is 184. Please remember those digits and look what is happening to our word or term for word in Hebrew, milah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's 85 and 99. Would that make 184? Yeah.
Yeah, do you see that?
Yes, 85 for Milah, and then the 99 for age of Abraham with the innocence brings the command of a son.
1 second, this is 85. Yes. Excellent. Now, on this thing, I did not think, but look what I was thinking. This is excellent, Ruth. This is completely excellent. Look what is happening when we're taking those 4 letters in Hebrew and we write each letter with its filling. What does it mean, its filling? How we pronounce it. Mem. Mem is like mem. Mem and mem. And yod, we write with 3 letters, yod, vav, daled. And lamed, lamed, mem, daled, and hey.
Yes.
Let's see. Yes?
Yeah, I can see that. And yeah, that's...
What do we see? It's the same picture. Either we take Abraham age as 99 plus adding the word to his age 85, we get 184, or we take the word in Hebrew milah, we take each letter of the word milah, and we write it with its feeling. What does it mean? It's feeling like we feel the room with furniture, meaning with the manifestation. The feeling is always is the manifestation. We come to the same value of 184, like God remembered, pakad. Pakad is remembered. The English takes it here as remembered. Pakad. Or if we switch the digits, we have 148, which, or 1, it is the value of 1 in Hebrew. 1. Yes? Echad, because 4 is chet, 1 is aleph. Sorry, 4 is chet. I'm just... Rodrigo is here. Good morning. 1 second.
Good morning, Yeti. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom, shalom. How are you today?
I'm fine, Yeti. Thank you very much. Today it's a beautiful day here, and I'm very happy to be here and talk with you and Ruth and Philip and everybody on YouTube. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. So, now when we see this picture, Rodrigo, did you manage to hear Ruth's words? Did you manage to hear Ruth?
I'm not here right now, but I just see the whiteboard and the word Milah and word and the numbers, but I can hear Ruth right now.
Good. So, Ruth, do you see how we come to the same conclusion from different ways? Yo was the first.
Yes. Yes. It's amazing this. It's amazing this. Well, it's absolutely wonderful that there's just the connections. And when you take, when you decipher the letters and when you rearrange them or you add something there, the fill-in, it's just amazing that it all becomes the same. It's so perfect.
Yes. Yes. And this is what gives so much peace. Because sometimes when people look only outside, there's a lot of chaos and, so to speak, random. And what is the mess which is going out in every country, in every place on this earth? But the more we look inside, we find a lot of structure and order. And it's so beautiful and calming.
Almost like there's a pattern.
Yes. Yes, it is true. It is true. Now, I would like us to move into a verse from Psalms. Let's read a few verses from Psalms, because in the last verse we have a word that connects to the word that we have started with. So, but to put us into this theme of into the music of Psalms, who would like to read Psalms here?
I can continue that one.
Mm-hmm.
O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. So let Israel now say, for his mercy endureth forever. So let the house of Aaron now say, for his mercy endureth forever. So let them now that fear the Lord say, for his mercy endureth forever. Out of my straits I call upon the Lord. He answered me with great enlargement. The Lord is for me, I will not fear. What can man do unto me? The Lord is for me as my helper, and I shall gaze upon them that hate me. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. All nations compass me about. Verily, in the name of the Lord I will cut them off. They compass me about, they compass me about. verily, in the name of the Lord, I will cut them. Sorry, that goes off screen for me.
Yes, 1 second. Yes. Do you see this?
In the name of the Lord, I will cut them off. They compass me about like bees. They are quenched as the fire of thorns. Verily, in the name of the Lord, I will cut them off.
Thank you so much. In English, we find the term cut them off. In Hebrew, we find the word amilem. I'll write it here, amilem. It sounds like milah. We can hear the word amilem, milah. We find it. I'll write it better because I have to make it beautiful. A second, amilem. Cut them off. Cut them off. Amilem. We have the sound of milah. What does it mean to cut them off? If we take those 5 letters and we give each letter its filling, Aleph, Mem, Yod, Lamed, Mem, we have the value of 365. Now, what does the number 365 remind you of?
Days
The
in a
solar year.
Solar year. What does the solar year is associated with? We have the lunar year and the solar year. The lunar year is associated with what inside of us? We have the solar year, the sun, and we have the lunar year, the moon.
The unconscious, they conceal.
Yes, the lunar year is the concealed or the unconscious. And the solar year, what is the solar year stand for?
I believe the conscience.
The conscious, the divine speech. We say in English to cut a word. What does it mean when I say to cut a word? What does it mean? If I sing the following song from a movie, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, is it a word? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I, is it a word or sequence of letters?
Sequence of letters.
Yes. So what characterizes a word?
Are you looking for the meaning?
What
The meaning.
characterizes our ability to speak?
Well, would it be a word that's written in numbers that make sense
Yes,
and that add up to a manifestation of what we don't see?
Yes. But this is very good what you're saying. But the word appears in time. And if I say whatever this song means, or A, B, C, D, this is just a sequence of letters. A word is something that we cut. Meaning, we say the word and then we stop. And there's air. So we cut, there's like infinite source of letters, but when we speak, we cut and make order. And then we
Yeah,
say,
it's like
yeah,
we have an entire vocabulary and we're choosing what to use.
yes. And then we can say simple sentence as the boy ate the apple. We cut. After every word we cut, we stop, and then there's a reason. There's order. So now the question is, what does David mean in these psalms? What is to cut off? To cut off the enemies. What are the enemies inside of us?
The wrong words and the wrong thoughts.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes, and I guess, we have the ability just to cut them off,
Yes.
which is with the help of the Spirit within us.
Yes.
If we are heading towards innocence.
Yes. Yes. We did not mention the tree of life and the sphere of Da'at. There is a sphere which is a merge between father and mother, between wisdom and understanding, called Da'at. The inner, I would not say opinion, but the inner merge between wisdom and understanding. And it's in the middle. The ability to cut, to decide, to make the right decision. Like you say, to cut the wrong thoughts. Yes. And the indirect ideas and all of those things we have this ability. We have this ability. Another thing that I would like to mention in this context is the relation between Abraham and David in terms of generations. Between Abraham and David, one second, Abraham and David, there are 14 generations. 14 generations. The value of David is also 14. Now, when Ishmael was born, Abraham was 86. Ishmael was born. "14 years later, when Abraham is 100 years old, Isaac is born, Yitzchak. Do you see something interesting? "86 represents the word Elohim, God, the manifested. 14 as 1 to 4 stands for the hidden name of God, the tetragrammaton Yod He Vav He, the 4 letters with the spark. The 4 letters are this, the spark, the hidden, is like the 1. So we have the manifested plus the hidden, and we get 100, the time that Isaac, or the power of laughter. Philon says that the distance between Ishmael to Isaac is the distance between time to the infinite.
Could you write those names down, please, for future reference as well?
Yes, 1 second, I'll write them again. Shall I write all of this, the relation between Ishmael and Yitzhak again?
Just Ishmael and Isaac would be plenty
Okay.
to see that or if you'd like, up
Yeah,
to you.
I just evacuate here space. Ishmael. I will write it in English. Ishmael was born when Abraham was 86. This is the value of Elohim. The manifested God. And 14 years later, Isaac is, when Abraham is 100 years old, Yitzhak nolad. Isaac is born, the laughter. This is time. And here, the birth of Isaac symbolizes the infinite. Philon says,
Thank you.
Philo of Alexandria says that the distance between 86 to 100 is the distance between time and timeless, or time and the infinite. So we have, according to Philon, we have two parallel systems. The system of time, which is represented by Hagar and Ishmael, Egyptian maid, and her son, and another system, which is represented by Sarah and Yitzhak. Sarah represents the virtue, and the son of virtue is the ability to love. Because we're not that close to the manifested. We have enough space, a distance. We're not identified with what is happening, so we have the ability to love. It sings. The virtue has the ability to love. Because the virtue is not from here. And also her son.
Yes, that's that. The laughter is wonderful, and I recall one of the verses. I'm not sure exactly which chapter it's in, but Job says in the book of Job, you will laugh at famine and destruction. He says that's written there, that at famine and destruction, just laugh. Because it's not the real.
Yes.
There's something beyond that. It's not what you see, it's what you don't see. And I kind of come back again to the Little Prince when he says, it's not what you see that's important, it's what you don't see.
Yes. He said that
And
really, yes, Ruth?
And so that is, the realm of the hidden is always working and is greater.
Yes.
To even say that as well, I think in the verses on the flip end of this is to be cutting off the negativity.
Yes. Yes.
Overall, leaves space for laughter or for opportunity, even more so, space that was occupied by something that it shouldn't, and you're giving a chance to give something that should. Give to something that should.
This is very interesting because let's return to 490 and innocence that we have started with here. God asked Abraham to be innocent.
Mm.
The value of Bethlehem, the house or the home of bread or belief, Bethlehem is 490. So our manifestation reaches 49 or 490. The next 10 that will complete the 490 to the 500 to the full hand perspective to Jerusalem is the divine speech. This is also why Bethlehem, if we open geographical map and here, Ruth, this is very, very interesting, because if we open geographical map of Israel, we see that the distance between Bethlehem and Jerusalem on the map is 10 kilometers.
Yes, well, it's nothing random. Nothing.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing is random. It's lovely. I really like it. It's so good.
Yes.
It's
So
absolutely, it's beautiful. It's not only is it encouraging, but it does bring laughter, actually. It really makes you laugh inside because you see the infinite at work.
yes.
And so there's no worry. And I like what Philip said, creating that space. If you don't create space and get rid of the negative, you must create space. I remember you talking about that in one other lesson. You have to create a space because you can't receive unless you have space.
Yes. On one chair.
Declutter.
Yes. On one chair one can sit. If this chair is occupied, who else can sit there? So if there's, and this is also, I think that Kevin was asking me once in before Passover, what does it mean to leave an empty chair for Elijah? And I said this is just a symbolic act to symbolize, to remind us always to prepare inside of ourselves a space for another person, for another thought, for another happening, for another sentiment, not to feel ourselves so much that we are stuffed and nothing can come in. This is the worst thing we can do to ourselves, to stuff ourselves.
It makes it important to have the good things around you as well, especially because you get to choose that also on what you do have completely around you. Ends up giving you the opportunity to fill yourself with as much of what is good for you as an individual. Which comes into a choice thing as well, as we've talked about in a couple classes also.
True.
Yeah, final point of that, as much positivity as possible.
Weinreb says something very interesting about the positivity that Fernando was quoting from his book, The Life and Death. He has a book in German that was translated to Spanish, and Fernando was reading and quoting from it. Weinreb says that we can only feel God when we have a conversation. The word exists when we have a conversation. Because when we walk in the world without a conversation, in a way there is no relation. This is very, very interesting. So this is why those sessions with you are so important. Because in a way God dwells in those spaces between us, in the words between us, in those exchanges, whether here in a live lessons or on Discord or in emails. Questions or thoughts?
Just as a thought, imagine knowing the language of God.
We're using it. This is interesting what you say, because also Weinreb writes about it. It doesn't matter what language we speak, Spanish, Portuguese, English or French. It all comes from one source.
It does come from, but I mean the words of God.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe still wasn't phrased the best. The words that God uses.
To interact with each and every one of us, you mean?
Maybe not necessarily with us, but maybe so even as well, to a point that we just won't even be able to interpret it. The words that he would use within his language, I would imagine it would be beyond what we can comprehend,
Mm-hmm.
but just as a thought, the language that he uses.
Yes, the sages speak about it as well. Things that we cannot mention even in a name.
Exactly.
Mm. Yes.
As opposed to the languages that we use, which were just created for us.
Thank you. Any
Yeah.
questions? Yes. Yes, Philip?
If no one else has a question, I was just going to say that was a thought that came just while you were speaking before that.
Yes. I think Felipe had a question. He asked something on YouTube. He says, here, Venus, we hear you. You wrote a question mark. Good morning. Felipe says, is there a relation between pakad and zachar? Because we said pakad, the Bible in English translated as remembered. So Felipe took the pakad 184 and was trying to see if there is a relation between pakad and Zachar. Pakad is 184. Pakad, this is 184. And Zachar, to remember, we have 7, and here we have 20, and here we have 200, is 227. Before we go to the value or to the realm of numbers, the sages, Felipe, relate to these words as opposite to each other linguistically, meaning Zachar, Vayzkor Elohim, and God remembered. Zachar, the sages say, is a masculine aspect of God, and Pakad is the feminine aspect. Before we enter numbers, the sages say whenever we find the word Pakad, there is a deficiency. Today in modern Hebrew, we say to deposit money in the bank, Pakad leafkid, to deposit. So we deposit something because there's a lack. This is how the sages look at the word Pakad. Also, not just that Pakad is considered to be a feminine act, but also the word or the term Milah is feminine. Ends with hey, so this is also feminine. When Joseph say goodbye to his family and friends in Egypt before he is closing his eyes, Joseph is promised them Pakod Yifkod, one day. The Bible in English says, God will surely remember you. But Joseph says in Hebrew, Pakod Yifkod Hashem etchem, the Lord will remember you, and please bring my bones with you. Because Joseph knows his finishes, let's say, completing his duty in Egypt, and he needs to move on. So the last words that he says next to those who are standing in front of him, he says, Pakod Yifkod Hashem etchem. In English, the God will surely remember you, and please bring my bones with you when you leave Egypt in time to come. The words that Joseph uses, Felipe, is Pakod Yifkod. The English translated as remember. The sages, the Hebrew sages, look at this verb as a feminine verb. Why? Because when we rearrange the letters, we have a new verb. Dafak is to knock, or dofek, which means pulse, when we knock at the door. When we knock at the door, or when we hear a pulse of the heart, there is a sound which is coming. And sound is always associated with the feminine aspect. Because the sound is being heard in time. Hi, Fernando. Good morning. Felipe, did I answer your question? Good morning, Fernando. Good morning. We're very happy that you're here. Did you understand the difference between pakad, the English translated as remember, but the verbs in Hebrew pakad and zachar? Because zachar, like we say the name Zachariah, the prophet, it means male. Not just to remember, because zachar in Hebrew has two aspects. Is to remember, but also it means a male aspect. Something which is there. It's, I would say, it's a virtue, something that doesn't change. Does it make any sense? Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, I can
Yes.
hear you. I'm just going to have to just think a little bit more on that one. Not that you haven't explained it well. I'm just going to think about that some more. And I'm going to look at the English text on that too, to help me too. But thank you very much for
You're most welcome.
wonderful teaching. Thank you so much. Good, wonderful conversation.
Thank
Because
you.
without conversation, we don't move on.
Yes, this is it. The spirit, this is it. This is it. Without a conversation, we don't move on. There is no motive. What happens when we converse?
Progress.
Yeah.
The spirit?
I guess we get that right? We come to that because wisdom and understanding come together
Yes.
and produce that knowledge which we need.
Yes.
Because without it, we perish. Or we
Yes.
just go round in circles. We go round
Excellent.
in that
Yes.
circle.
Yes. Excellent. Yes. Yes. Conversation, when we converse, words are being born in the moment of a conversation. They create a sense of reason. The reasoning is like a wind that moves the sail of the soul, and our boat can move in time. It's a great motivator. It's a huge motivator, the conversation. We always read about, and God blew air or life in Adam's nostrils. We think it's like a historical act. But this is what we do when we converse to another person, or we have a conversation among few people who just not a chat and just news update or so. Really conversation. It is a birth of new ideas, and a person feels like he was charging his heart and mind with like huge battery. Like we charge the phone. The phone, after 24 hours, if we will not charge it, it's gone. In this case, what charges our engine is those conversations. Without it, believe me, we're nothing. Plus, what happens if we don't make space to those conversations is what Ruth, you said, and Philip. Our thoughts start spinning, and there's no cut. There is no a line that goes forward. When God says in Genesis 1, let there be a light, Yehi O, this is the voice of reason. Yehi O, and then we can speak and create sense of things. This is the meaning of creation, to create sense.
That was very good.
Thank you.
If I could even add onto that as well, not to mention that your spiritual guidance is also a conversation on its own.
Most welcome.
I've come to a realization with these Genesis chapters here as well. I don't know if it's a trend throughout them all or not, but both or the first verses in these chapters so far all speak about birth as well.
Philon speaks about those chapters, and also Weinreb. This is not a historical story. This is Moses. He says, Philon says Moses wrote it. He wrote it in a way. He dressed the words in a way that they are speaking of the birth of reason. How reason is being born from the spirit. Reason is very close sound to Ratzon. Ratzon in Hebrew is a will. Reason, Ratzon. The reason, the cause is the divine will. So it happens many times during the day that we have to find in ourselves what is the divine will in each and every one of us, because so many things are happening. So either we speak to a friend or with ourselves, what is happening inside? What is the divine will which is hidden like this rose? What does the rose want inside? This is why the little prince has such a unique relation to the rose. Any questions so far or thoughts that you would like to share with us?
No questions with me. I was happy with that.
Thank you. Thank you. If you have further questions or literature chapters that you would like to share with us, or paintings, please share them on Discord, and I shall be happy to write to you on Discord until our next meeting here on Thursday. And if you wish to initiate presentation, Ruth, Felipe, Rodrigo, Fernando, Kevin, Venus, hidden people who don't use their real names, all are invited to present your ideas. We shall be delighted to share your ideas with the world. So please write to us, and until then, we would like to wish you a very, very good week. Thank you for
very
coming
much.
here
Good work.
today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Etty,
Thank you
before you just close, you just said we'll see you next Thursday. did you really mean Monday, or do you mean a week today?
Again, Thursday.
Oh, you just said, oh, we'll meet again next Thursday.
Oh,
Which is-
sorry, because I had yes, Monday. Thank you for
Monday.
this. I feel it's I don't know. I feel I just began with this idea because I'm cooking with this. Sorry. Thank you, Ruth.
It's
Yes,
no problem.
yes.
But thank you very much.
Thank you. I feel it's like a new beginning today. This is why I feel like it's Monday, like it's a beginning of something. So I don't know why. It feels to me a great breakthrough. But okay. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
So
Right.
see you then,
Thank
and
you.
Bye bye.
wish you a very good week and
Bye.
Shabbat Shalom. Bye bye.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you very much.
Shalom.